Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing a brand new project after a little hiatus here. And I am featuring some brand new products from Pinkfresh Studio that are just being released today. I am featuring this Sweet Friend Floral Suite here. So these are 4 different products that are sold separately but all coordinate together. I have the Sweet Friend Floral hot foil plate there on the left and the coordinating die set here. So you can choose, you can actually make this card that I'm making with the stamp set if you prefer, but today I'm going to be using the hot foil plate. Now, in addition to that, there is a coordinating one-piece die. So both the hot foil plate and the stamp are a one-piece item. You stamp them or hot foil them all at once, and then you can die cut them all at once. And then finally, I have the layering stencil set as well. And this is a great way to quickly add color to these floral images. So to do my foiling today, I'm going to be using my Crafter's Companion Gemini foil press. This coordinates with the Gemini Junior die cut machine. If you have the Glimmer machine from Spellbinders, that would work as well. In fact, I have a video comparing the 2 machines, so I'll throw that up in a card. And today I am using the foil press. And while my foil press heats up, I have it on medium heat here, I'm going to go ahead and cut down this foil. Now this is a Glimmer foil. And I have my hammer mill cardstock here. I have the foil with the dull side facing the paper and the pretty side up. And then I'm going to lay my foil plate with the design facing towards the pretty side of the foil. And I'm going to take all of this and kind of flip it over and lay it onto the platform of my foil press here. Now this foil press platform is going to heat up this hot foil plate. And the heat combined with the pressure that the die cut machine is going to give us in this whole die cutting or foiling sandwich is going to press this foil into the cardstock. So I've set my timer on my foil press to about 16 seconds. Once that's completed, I have covered it with the plate that comes with the foil press, and now I'm running that through my Gemini Junior. And when I pull it out the other side, I can remove the hot foil plate and remove the foil on top, and I have some perfectly foiled floral images. Now I'm going to do another set of these just so I have several on hand because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with my card project at this point, and I want to have plenty of images to use. But I do want to tell you that this combination of foiling, stenciling, and ink blending is like the triple threat of card making, in my opinion. It just is so wonderful because you get these beautiful, shiny, foiled images, and you have the stencils available to you that make it super easy to color. Now, if you don't choose to purchase the stencils, you can always color these with your favorite coloring medium. But ink blending is just something that's super fast. And when you're using the layering stencils, it goes so quickly. And that's something that I really enjoy because I don't always enjoy taking the time to color detailed images or add the shading. So these stencils really make it easy. And I love that Pinkfresh is really doing a lot of these coordinating layering stencils to make this easy for those of us who are not necessarily coloring lovers like myself. So I'm starting with stencil number 1, and I am adding a light layer of ballet slipper, just very light-handed, not too dark at all. I want to just get a little bit of color down, and I'm doing this on the first set of flowers, and then I'm going to move it over and do the same thing on the second set of flowers. Now, I'm not going to show you the entire process because it is a lot of the same thing. You're going to use the lines that the hot foil plate created to line up the stencils. They're very easy to line up. And then you're just going to take your blending brush with a little bit of ink and add some color. Now that first layer, I used the ballet slipper. Now I'm moving on to the Pinkfresh olive ink. And you can see I actually have this little tiny blending brush here. That helps me get into smaller spaces. But if you only have a larger blending brush, you can absolutely make that work. Now I'm being really light-handed with this first layer of color because I'm actually going to use the same green ink to add the detail to these leaves as well. So I'm going to just build up the color in those detail layers later on to add that darker shading rather than go to a darker colored ink. So now I have the detail layer of the flowers, and I am using Coral Reef on this first set of flowers to add that darker or shadow area. And then on the second set of flowers, I'm going to use the Pinkfresh Studio Peach Fuzz ink, and I'm going to mix the ballet slipper and the peach fuzz together, and it gives a really beautiful color. You're going to love it. If you haven't tried that yet, definitely give it a try. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is if you do not have a hot foil system, number one, I totally think you should get one. But if you don't and you would prefer to make this card with the stamp set, you can absolutely do the same thing. So you can stamp it and heat emboss it with some gold embossing powder, or you could stamp it in some regular black ink or another color of ink, and then add your layering stencil coloring right over the top. Now for the center area of these upper flowers, this stencil just has a couple little pieces on it. I'm using the Pinkfresh Studio Sweet Mustard color. I love this yellow. It gave this kind of ink blending a little intensity and really created a beautiful look. And you can see I'm going back in for the detail layer of the leaves, as I mentioned before, with the same olive colored ink. Now I'm going heavier in some places than others and allowing there to be a lot of variation in this color. And I can do that with this smaller ink blending tool because I'm getting into smaller areas. I'm not covering a large amount of area when I blend. Now, if you find your stencils aren't wiping up very easily, sometimes they get a little ink that gets left over on them, you can use a rubbing alcohol to clean them up and they clean up beautifully. I use this spray rubbing alcohol to do that, and they just clean up so nicely with that rubbing alcohol and a microfiber cloth. So now that all my ink blending is done, I'm going to go ahead and take the coordinating one-piece die. I am holding it in place with a little bit of this highlighter tape. It's very similar to the Easy C Crafters tape that you are probably seeing on other YouTube channels or from other creators. I purchased this on Amazon. I got several colors and I'm really enjoying it. It has a very low tack. It comes up easy and you can tear it very easily as well. So you can see once I had that die held in place with the Easy C highlighter tape, I ran that through my die cut machine and then I have all of my floral images. Now this stamp set is called Just a Hello Floral from Pinkfresh Studio. It is one of the brand new stamp sets and I love it because there are two one-piece stamps here and the coordinating dies available. So that floral element is one piece and all of these sentiments here on the bottom are a one-piece stamp as well. So you can stamp them all at once and die cut them all at once as well. So I'm grabbing just the sentiment portion of this Just a Hello stamp set and I'm placing that onto the bottom area of this scrap piece of cardstock that I cut all the florals from. I'm placing that in my Misty stamping tool and inking it up with the Pinkfresh Hybrid Detail Black ink. And I'm just inking that up really well and pressing it down. I'm going to use my Debbie stamping tool here to help me get even pressure over the entire thing. Now, keep in mind, when I'm using this Debbie stamping tool, I am not pressing super hard. I'm using it to glide over the image so I get even pressure. If you add too much pressure to certain images in particular, you're going to kind of blow out the lines. So you just want to get enough pressure to transfer the ink. And if you have to re-ink it and stamp it twice, it's better to take the time to do that than to try to add too much pressure and kind of blow out the lines, especially on thin line, intricate images. Now, once I have that stamped, I'm going to line up the coordinating one-piece die, once again holding it in place with that highlighter tape, run that through my die cut machine, and now I have several perfectly stamped and die cut sentiments ready to go. Now, to add some dimension behind the sentiments, I'm going to die cut this sentiment die a couple more times from some plain white cardstock. That's going to allow me to stack up the pieces behind the sentiment and add some really solid dimension. I die cut the floral images as well because I thought I might stack those up. I actually ended up using foam tape on the back of those. Either one is a good option. Sometimes I just really like that really firm, almost chipboard looking piece for my sentiment. And that's what this kind of creates when you stack those up. Now, my last little bit of die cutting, there is a lot of die cutting on this card, but I love die cutting. So you can just hang in there with me. You could use a plain panel for this if if you want to do that, but I am using the Pinkfresh Studio stitched rectangle dies, and in the center of that, I'm centering up this blanket stitched oval. And this is going to create a panel with an oval in the center of it that I can use kind of as a window card on the front of my card. So I've lined them up, held them in place with that Easy C highlighter tape. I'm running both dies through the machine at the same time so that I can just save a little bit of time here. And you can see I am left with this really great panel. It has stitching on the outside of the rectangle. It has stitching around the oval as well. And then I still have that oval piece that I can use on another card project. Now to adhere my elements today, I am using the Barely Arts glue. I really have enjoyed using this glue. I've been using it for quite some time in my craft room. It has a nice precision tip that I just kind of unscrewed. If you're a nurse, you understand the lure lock system. This glue kind of has that lure lock system on the top. If you're not a nurse, I'm sorry I'm using nurse terms, but I am a nurse, and that's what it reminds me of. So the green tip I had on before was just to keep it closed. Then you can kind of screw that glue tip off without taking the entire lid off of the glue, screw on the precision tip, and then you're ready to go. Now, one thing I do enjoy about this glue is that it is very fluid. It comes out very easily. I haven't had problems with it getting clogged up or anything like that. And once I kind of have all of my sentiments stacked up here, I just have a little needle I stuck inside of the precision tip. It hasn't rested yet. It actually came with the glue bottle, and that's working perfectly. When I'm done crafting for the day, I go ahead and put that green tip back on because that keeps it sealed up really nicely. And right now I'm just kind of messing with the layout on my card here. So I'm just kind of finding where I want all of these pieces. When I get a good idea of where I'm going with this, I'm gonna just start gluing and adhering some things down. So I'm starting with this longer piece here. I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue, kind of framing up that oval. Then I'm going to stack another piece on top of it. I've actually trimmed off a little bit of the stem that was on the bottom of this floral cluster here. And I'm just placing that, and I'm grabbing this main focal image to kind of just make sure everything's lined up how I want it. I will stack this piece on top using a little bit of foam adhesive, and I am using the DIY foam adhesive that I showed you how I create in a video a couple weeks ago. I will link that here. And I'm finishing off with another kind of long floral piece, and I've added that with some more foam adhesive. Now my sentiment, I am going to add that on with a little bit of liquid glue kind of overlapping this oval opening. I have that stacked up with 4 layers of white cardstock, the stamped piece, and then 3 plain white layers behind it to give it dimension. And I am going to finally take this piece of craft cardstock. I'm laying it at an angle on my scoreboard, and then I'm going to add some scored diagonal lines here. Now to keep this cardstock from moving as I'm adding my score lines, I've just held it in place with a little bit of tape. And now I'm taking a stylus and adding some scored diagonal lines. Now I do want to say, I was not careful to make sure that these were all evenly spaced. This was more about adding some texture behind that window panel that I created. That was what this was all about. I didn't care if it was perfect. I could have turned it and done a crosshatch. I just wanted something going on behind that window. So once I have those scored lines added to my cardstock, I adhered the oval window panel on top of that using a little bit of foam adhesive. And now I am going to take this panel and add it onto, this is not an A2 size card. This is about a 1/4 inch smaller. So it measures about 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I just liked that margin spacing a little bit better. So I have that adhered on there, and I'm going to finish this card off with some of the Pinkfresh Studio Gold Metallic Pearls. And once again, I am just using the Barely Arts glue to add those on to my card front. And you can see I did add a little twine bow around the floral pieces as well. And that finishes off my card today. We have the triple threat of card making here. We have stenciling, ink blending, hot foiling. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than this. Now, as always, you will find links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. But if you're looking for something in particular, you got to go over to my blog. I will have that linked below. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as some information on a giveaway, because this video is a part of a blog hop celebrating this brand new release, July 2021 release from Pinkfresh Studio. You can see all the brand new products over at my blog. I will have those linked as well. And you will find more information, like I said, on that giveaway. So be sure you visit me over there. As always, if you liked this video, I would so appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications. I am running a special on subscriptions here. It is free of charge. And if you hit that bell, you can be notified every time I upload a video. And there will be some more videos coming very shortly here. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.